And I'm here. That is probably one of my favorite intros to a Souls game. Demon Souls is just super fucking iconic. Like, the sound design, the visual aesthetic, I love it. It's great. Also, there's a bit of history. Because my first Souls character is here. I'm not going to be playing as them here, but I do want to show them off a little bit. Because it's kind of the archetype for, like, every fucking Souls character I played afterwards. And it did, I wouldn't say it informed the way I play RPGs, but it did both take a lot of my prior influence and combine it with the Souls genre, and then going forward, I kind of reference it a lot. And yeah, it's gonna do this every time. But yeah, weirdly enough, I didn't actually play a lot of Demon Souls, when it fucking first came out. The only reason, like, why these two characters are here is because this I was coming back to play a while later, and then this was my original character that I ripped off my other PS3 and then brought it to this one, because I am on a different PS3 obviously now, and the way FromSoft does save data is super annoying. But yeah, this is my original guy, because I always named all of my Souls characters character for some reason. I don't remember the genesis of that. But yeah, Demon Souls is actually the first PS3 game I ever bought, because I bought it before I got a PS3. Because I wasn't huge on the PS3 when it first came out. My cousin had one, and a lot of my PS3 experience came from when I would visit him and play games on his PS3. And I wasn't super sold on it originally, and then I later came to, like, oh yeah, I actually kind of like this. I like how weird it is. And this is the original, well, not the original, but the first Souls version of the Moonlight Greatsword. It doesn't have a beam, actually. Its gimmick in Demon Souls is that it goes through shields. It's unblockable. And has a pretty standard moveset. It's the same moveset it has in every game, except it doesn't have a stinger, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because there's no left-handed heavy attack in the Demon Souls. Both buttons just block, which feels a bit redundant, but you know. Yeah, there's no stinger for the Moonlight Greatsword until, I want to say, Dark Souls 3 might actually have been the first one, but I feel like there was one in maybe Dark Souls 2 also. And then this is the best medium shield in the game. So this is Silver Shield. And I'm wearing the... Like, this is the sort of character build I would build in every game since it, which was a Knight chest piece, specifically the Canon Knight set. So the Flute Knight set here, the Elite Knight set in Dark Souls 1, Alva's set in Dark Souls 2. Not the Lothric Knight set, although I did rock that as well. And then the fucking... is it the Nameless Knight set? Whatever the Dark Souls 3 one is. But yeah, Dark Souls 3 is weird because it doesn't really have... Because you would argue that whatever the Knight class starts with is the canon set. But Dark Souls 2 does not start with... Like, the Knight set does not... Like, your Knight class in Dark Souls 2 does not wear Knight armor. He wears the Falconer set, which is fucking weird. Anyway. Yeah, and I fucking went the entire game in my original playthrough without... well, I mean, okay, fine. I am in New Game Plus here, so... Because I have the fucking Demon Brand and Soul Brand and everything. So, you know, it's a whole big thing. Anyway, back to the main menu. I just wanted to show that off a little bit. It's a little bit of history of my character. Because every game going forward, I would wear a thief mask, I'd have the Moonlight Greatsword, a silver shield, and specifically the Canon chest piece with some kind of lighter, like, leather pants. Weirdly enough, that's also the fucking armor I would wear in Minecraft. I wear iron armor, iron boots, and leather pants. And then, like, no helmet. I think it's because when I first started playing Minecraft, I used to wear the Creeper Hunter skin. I had a modified version of it that I made, and that had, like, a mask that covered the lower part of the face. And I thought that looked really good when you wore it with that combination of armor. I wonder if I should do, like, a classic thing, like, go get my Creeper Hunter skin back and do, like, a classic Minecraft thing. Just in case you were wondering, me and Jack and Shaflu actually did a full Minecraft Let's Play that was, like, fucking 80 hours long, And we only realized partway through that the Discord audio didn't properly get recorded in OBS, so the only person's voice you can hear is me, so we scrapped the whole thing. If anyone wants to see it, I can post it as scrap footage, but we do plan on doing some Minecraft thing again later. Just, it's... the reason we stopped originally wasn't even because of the audio, it's because the server we were hosting it on, deleted our fucking world. So we fucking gave up, and we might come back to it later. I might just, if we do a new thing, I might just splice in bits of, like, highlights from the original. But, you know. Anyway, weirdly enough, the female character is actually preferable to the male character starting out in Demon's Souls, because the male character can't wear all of the armor. But the female character can, interestingly enough, because Demon's Souls has gendered armor. Like, the male character can't wear the Executioner's set. It's very strange. Also, all the heavy armor in Demon's Souls inhibits stamina the way the Giant set does in Dark Souls 1 and the Stone set. So, wearing heavier armor in Demon's Souls actually comes with some pretty massive drawbacks, hence me only wearing the chest piece and the other thing. Because it's per piece of armor, if I remember correctly. So if you only wear part of it, you only get a slight stamina reduction. But yeah, I'm gonna go through the different, like, because yeah, there's that. This is still probably my favorite of all the Knight's armors. I really like the Fluted Knight set, and I gotta admit, I don't really like the remakes version. It makes it way too fancy. It's like ornamental. They should have kept the default Fluted Knight set as it was, and then maybe made Ostrava's, more ornamental. Because he's a prince, it makes sense. It always like felt kind of weird that Ostrava is wearing the default Fluted Knight set, but he has like a magic sword and shield. I'll go through each of them, like what they look like as the male and female versions, just to show them off. Normally, I would pick the male character with the Fluted Knight armor, like it's just a male knight, but I think I'm actually gonna pick either Magician or Royal, because the Royal starts with I forgot how many classes there were in the original. Yeah, the Royal, if I remember correctly, starts with the Fragrant Ring, which is a unique item that did not come back until Elden Ring's DLC. It regens your mana, or FP, as it were, passively, which you can get it in-game. There are no items restricted to classes like there are in the remake, or in Dark Souls 1, I think, because like the Witch's Ring, you could not get, fuck, my brain is melting. You couldn't get the Witch's Ring unless you started with it in the class menu, I believe. There might be a Snuggly trade option, but I don't remember. If I remember correctly, if you give the Witch's Ring to Snuggly, he gives you a red Titanite slab, though I might be wrong about that. But yeah, I'm actually going to pick Royalty this time because I never picked Royalty. And you can get the Fluted Knight set later, although, like I said, if I remember correctly, the female characters can wear the Fluted Knight set, but the Fluted Knight set on a female character has a completely different model, and it looks way worse, which sucks. It's not like Dark Souls 1 where the knight armor looks exactly the same, depending on if you're playing male or female, it just has slightly different proportions. If you're playing female, you unfortunately cannot wear it with its actual appearance, and that sucks. I forgot how weird the faces look in, yeah, and there's no, like, complicated backgrounds for, I actually kind of like the second one we got. Damn. If I remember correctly, random doesn't actually randomize your character's appearance. It just goes for, like, it goes through some additional preset options. Yeah, I remember, like, a lot of the hairstyles in Demon's Souls looking really good and being confused why they weren't in, Dark Souls. Like, there's more hairstyles here. I'm either gonna go with short and wavy or long and wavy. I do kind of like long, but it clips through a lot of the armors, if I remember correctly. I think I'm gonna go with short wavy. And then... Oh yeah, I forgot you can like really like get in there. You can't adjust skin color though. So I wanted to make my character a little bit more pale. Oh, never mind. Yeah, you totally can. Not that pale. Yeah, I think that's alright. Alright, that took a long time. But I think I'm good with that now, pretty much. Oh yeah, fucking the PS3's terrible, freaking. Oh no. There we go. And let's get started. But yeah, I haven't played Royal in the original before, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing how this plays in comparison. Demon's Souls has also probably my favorite of the intro cutscenes for like world building. It's not as like produced, but I really like it.
That is,
I should probably
until the colorless deep fog swept across the land. Boletaria was cut off from the outside world, and those who dared penetrate the deep fog never returned. But Valarfax of the Royal Twin Fangs broke free from the fog and told the world of Boletaria's plight. That the old King Alant had aroused the Old One, the great beast below the Nexus, from its eternal slumber, and that a colorless fog had swept in, unleashing terrible demons. The demons hunt down men and claim their souls. Those who lose their souls also lose their minds. The mad attack the sane, and chaos reigns. Valarfax spoke of the enticing power of the demon souls. Each time a demon claims a human soul, the demon's own soul is invigorated by the life force, and the power of a mature demon soul is beyond human imagination. The legend spread quickly. Mighty warriors were drawn to the accursed land, but none have returned. Bjor of the Twin Fangs, Yurt the Silent Chief, Sage Urbane, Skurver the Wanderer, the Sixth Saint Astraea and her knight Garl Vinland, and Sage Frake the Visionary. The colorless deep fog slowly creeps beyond Boletaria's borders. Humankind faces a slow and steady extinction. The deep fog will eventually swallow all lands near and far. But Boletaria has one final hope. A lone warrior who has braved the baneful fog. Has the land found its savior? Or have the demons found a new slave?
It's so good, and it actually tells you about what's happening in the world. I forgot it asked you if you wanted to play the tutorial. Yes, of course I would. Yeah, and these loading screens with the characters on them, they're super good. Interestingly, Elden Ring takes a page from Demon Souls' playbook and how it opens, which is pretty nice.
Brave soul who fears not death. I shall guide you.
I've heard a lot of people talk about one of the biggest connections that, like, for all the games taking place in at least a connected universe,
So that you may lull
is the fact that the fog doors still exist. Like, beyond being just a mechanical barrier separating you from the bosses, there's a lore reason in Demon Souls for why it's a fog wall specifically. Which I find pretty interesting. Okay, so I've got a rapier to start. That's not bad. It's the pretty standard, like, Dark Souls 1 rapier. And there is no kicking in this game. That's your parry. In this game, it's a shove, which is weird. It's also a lot harder to do. I always liked this location because it's clearly not part of the rest of Boletaria's, like, normal environment. Wow, this runs a lot better on the regular PS3 than it does on the Slim. It's not quite running at, like, a stable frame rate, but more than, like, good enough for me. I'm not too picky about frame rates as long as the game isn't jumping all over the place. I also like that in this game, you have a fucking goddamn, alright, it's on the, yeah. Which I guess makes sense, because you're not gonna fucking, use your magic while attacking. But yeah, I appreciate that it's not just spells have a limited number of casts, you know? It's based on your actual bar, as it should be. As much as I love Dark Souls 1 and 2, it being just a limited number of casts per spell always kind of pissed me off, you know? Also, I love that even though the game's offline, there are ghosts that are built into the game. Yeah, and you don't get, like, a dedicated healing item in this game. You just have to pick up healing grass on the ground, and if you don't have any, fuck you, you don't have any. Which is a bit of a shame in terms of, like, reliability, because it means if you run out, you just have to go fucking farm some for a while. They also take up space in your inventory, and they have a weight, which means if you want to max out on being your ability to heal, you're gonna be sacrificing how much stuff you can carry later. Also, I like the bodies in Demon Souls are unique. Like, this is a fluted knight, like, body, but there are other bodies that are, like, bandits or dregs or what have you. There were a couple instances of that in the other games, but the thing that Dark Souls had was that you would pick up, like, a set from a location and be like, oh, this is where the bandit died, etc. And there is still that in some of these games, in Demon Souls and the other games, but unique bodies in the later Souls games is tied to whether or not, like, an NPC died there. And then the body disappears afterwards, which kind of sucks. I actually kind of like this rapier. Now, for the real question of how quickly does the mana recharge? Also, I forgot how, like, high enemy aggro is in Demon Souls. They aggro you from really far off, especially in some of the later levels. Like, Valley Defilement, people aggro you from fucking forever. Something I like about the new Demon Souls that I saw was they added completely unique riposte and backstab animations for every weapon type in the game, which is not something that the other Souls games have. Weapon types have unique animations in the other Souls games, but not specific weapons, and a lot of the animations do not make any sense. Let me just make sure I didn't lose all the items, because that just warps you inside here, and it's a tutorial for how the Archstones work. I also like that, like, the fog kind of permeates the area a little bit, which is cool. I'm gonna try and get through the tutorial without dying, but I always had a hard time with that in Demon Souls for some reason. Yeah, Satsuki, a character you won't even meet if you're playing the game normally. He's also the basis for Shiva in Dark Souls 1, whose storyline actually got fucking removed from the game prior to release because they couldn't figure out a way to incorporate it. Shiva was supposed to be kind of like a duplicate of Satsuki's questline, where you were supposed to go find the Dark Souls 1 version of Hiltless for him. Or, in this game, it's Magic Sword Makoto, but you know. You were supposed to do that for Shiva in Dark Souls 1, and then he would invade you to kill, to get it, or whatever. But they couldn't figure out a way to incorporate it. But Patches still has his voice lines about Shiva not being trustworthy, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, that's definitely way slower. But the projectile speed's super fast, but the... Oh yeah, I forgot! Isn't that the... That's the silver one, right? Yeah, the silver catalyst. Because the silver catalyst increases the actual amount of FP you have, but only while you're carrying it. I like wands. I wish wands had stuck around as a casting, like, implement. I don't think there are any wands in the Souls series. This is where it's teaching you to parry, but fuck that noise. Yeah, magic is super busted in Demon Souls. I didn't really use magic a whole bunch in my original playthrough. I think I used Escape, because it's a free homeward bone. And I used Poison Mist. I remember Wrath of the Gods being super overpowered, but it also took a long time to get. And it required a ton of faith, and I wasn't really a faith guy. I mean, I was faith because you had to use... that's another thing. The Moonlight Greatsword in Demon Souls is not an intelligence weapon. It is a faith weapon. Which means that you need faith to wield it. I guess that makes sense, because it's like an intangible, like, you know... it's an intangible, my brain is melting. Fucking sword that, like, it kind of, like, reminds me of, like, a leap of faith, and that it's only gonna hit if you believe it'll hit, you know? I did always find it interesting the location you find the Moonlight Greatsword in this game is very unglamorous. Does this shield have 100% physical reduction? Damage reduction 90-30. Huh. Yeah, the way stats are listed in Demon Souls is not my favorite, if I'm being honest. That's why the rapier is super good, because you can use it from behind a shield like a spear. I really, really like the rapier. The S-Talk was a better weapon in the early games, but I really liked the rapier. There's a magic rapier in fucking Dark Souls. Oh yeah, well I mean aside from Rickard's rapier. But there's a magic rapier in one of the games. I can't remember which one though. It's like a weapon you can pick up really early. I guess I might go for a magic build in this one, because I've never done like a full-on like invested magic build in Demon Souls. Which means I should probably go for the Crescent Falchion. I know some people will recoil in disgust when I mention the Crescent Falchion, but Crescent Falchion's really good. It's kind of a pain in the ass to run for it, but it's real good. Okay, now I always had like a difficult time fighting this guy. Okay. Cannot block that. Good to know. I think part of the reason I hate this fight is because this room is so damn small. And interestingly enough, despite this being the, like, predecessor to Asylum Demon, It is not the same moveset. It's very similar, but it's not the same moveset. He swings faster. His range isn't quite as wide, but he does way more damage. And he doesn't swing like immediately after he did before, and he recoils off his environment way more frequently. And if I remember correctly, there's basically no way to kill him without using magic or pyromancy. Actually, there really isn't pyromancy in this game. There's really just faith and sorcery, and that's kind of it. Damn it! Ah, that sucks. I had him. Ah, man. Yeah, it's just the timing on those swings when I'm really close to him, I'm not good at predicting. That's a shame. All you get is a colorless demon soul and a couple more consumables, so it's not a huge loss. It's not like in the other games where you miss out on a weapon if you don't kill him, but yeah. I think the problem there is just that the room is really, really small, and it's hard to, like, because there's a spot on his left side you can maneuver yourself into to, like, significantly lower the chances of being hit, but if you're too close to the wall, there's not really a good way to stay in that sweet spot, which kind of sucks. Oh no, clipping. There's also way more cutscenes in Demon's Souls compared to the other Souls games. Like, Dark Souls has what? Like,
This is the Nexus.
3, 4, aside from the, I'm not counting the intro, I'm talking about in-game, like, cinematics. Because Dark Souls 1 has Bird, then the next one would be Bell of Awakening, other Bell of Awakening, Sense Fortress, Gargoyle, the things taking you, oh, also Gargoyle Fight, yeah, true. Okay, there may be a few more than I remember, but yeah. And contrary to popular belief, you do not want to spend most of the game in human form, and that is because of world tendency. Because if your world tendency goes down when you die in human form, and it is significantly harder to increase your world tendency than it is to lower it. Lowering it's easy, just die over and over again. Increasing it can only happen if you kill a boss, kill a unique enemy, kill an invader. That is it. Those are the only ways to increase world tendency. Also, while the online is functional, you can help out a person in co-op, but, you know, that doesn't happen anymore. Also, weirdly enough, some days on the calendar would change the world tendency of your world. Your world tendency could be changed on Christmas and Halloween. On Halloween, it would be all black. On Christmas, it would be all white. And I think there were 1 or 2 other holidays that corresponded to Japanese holidays, but, you know, whatever. I think White Day would actually increase it. And then also player participation. Depending on the average of all online players would change the world tendency for you starting when you log in, which actually was a massive pain in the ass because it meant if you got a world to pure white, but most people had their worlds at pure black, when you log in next time, your world tendency will have gone down to reflect the average of all players, which meant the only way to preserve your world tendency was to play offline. And that sucked. Because a lot of people aren't going to be doing an entire world in one run. They're going to do like 1-1, then leave, and then do like 1-2, and then do like 1-3 maybe, and then go back to like 1-1, and then take a break, and then come back and then do like another one. and it meant that you're going to lose out on unique items, because there are tons of weapons and encounters that you can only get in this game if you have pure black or pure white world tendency. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to get all pure white, and then I'm going to go to each of the worlds and then do all pure black, if I can, if I have time for that. But yeah.
Well, you slipped through the fissure too, did you? You came for demon souls?
I can't remember if
To
that's
save
the
this
same
land
guy
be
as in
remembered as a hero.
Dark Souls 1.
Hunting for demons?
I have my volume turned down, by the way, so I can't hear it
One
very
of the
well.
Archstones.
I love that they went through the effort of making this cutscene and giving them all, like, animations for gesturing to things, but then didn't make their lips move. Because this is the first instance of them not having lips that move.
You came for demons? We're welcome here.
Okay. And then Stockpile Thomas. He's your inventory.
I'm Stockpile Thomas.
I
When
like
the
Stockpile
Scourge came,
Thomas.
I
I'm
didn't
glad
know
they've
what
got
hit
all
me.
the original voice actors
When I
back
came
for the
to,
remake.
I found myself here.
I like the
in
original
Nexus.
reads better, if I'm being
My
honest.
wife and
I
daughter
feel like some
fell
of the...
victim to the demons.
Because the new ones are definitely a lot
But I
closer to
would
how
be
real
worthless
people
in battle.
speak.
At
But
the
they're
very
missing
least,
a lot of
I
the
hope to lend my
characterization from
assistance
the
to
original,
you, brave
you know?
slayers of demons. I would be happy to lighten your load.
They even
and
got the
look
guy who
after
plays
any
fucking
excess baggage.
Edwin and his brother. That dude's like 1,000,000 years old. I forget if there's anything in here to start. No. Do I need to deposit anything? I'm not really carrying anything. I'm using everything I have.
When the Scourge came, I abandoned my wife and daughter. And
You
fled
still
like a
died
madman.
because you're here. Although you're not
I
in
came
spirit
to,
form, so
I
maybe
was
you're
in
not
the
actually
Nexus.
dead. Wait.
I haven't dared venture
I thought I could
outside
see
these
through his
walls
model a
since.
little bit, but that might just be dithering.
I wish I could do more, but I am ignorant.
I
of
also
the
love
world
that
beyond
hallway over
these
there. Is
walls.
every tooltip in the game will just spawn
That candle maiden cared for me during my first days in the Nexus.
on the floor, and you can
She
read all of
says
them.
very
It used to
little,
also spawn
but
player
has a
messages,
kind
but it doesn't
heart.
do that anymore.
She's just the age my young daughter would have been.
The Hunter's Dream in
poor, poor
Bloodborne is
girl.
also very similar
Trapped
to
here with
the
her
Nexus,
eyes
in that it has an
occluded by
area where it does
wax.
that too.
If only
Man, the
something could be
Nexus
done to
and
help her.
Firelink are probably still my two favorites. I've spent way more time in Firelink just because I've probably played at least 1,000 hours of Dark Souls 1 across all my characters.
If only something could be done to help her.
I actually have a figurine of
Best of luck to you.
the Fluted Knight set guy from when they remade Demon's Souls, because I wanted to examine it to see if I could use it as a reference point, but it doesn't really work. It's also not very high quality.
You new here? Do you hear for my services? The name's Baldwin.
Yeah, because it's Edwin
Just
and
an ordinary
Baldwin.
blacksmith. It's simple. Just bring me all the souls you can. In trade,
Yeah, he's
I'll give you
very
weapons.
standoffish
I'll
here.
forge
I
ones you
noticed in the
already have.
remake, he's a
With your
lot more
souls,
friendly.
I can eke out a living. And with my weapon,
Whereas here, he's a little bit more sarcastic, a
can
little
go on
sardonic.
living.
Definitely
not a bad
not
deal,
as
huh?
friendly. And he sells... Well, I don't have any souls. Oh, I do have souls. That's kind of weird. He sells your basic starting equipment. Heater shield. I think if I had the heater
You're
shield...
interested. I can tell you're
Oh,
not
fuck
gonna
off.
lot.
If I had the heater shield when I first started, I probably would have been able to block that without... Because in Dark Souls, your shield reduction, like if it's at 90%, it means you'll take 10% of the hit's damage. In Demon Souls, it means they blow through your guard and will deal almost all of their maximum damage to you, barring a small sliver that your shield blocks, which kind of sucks. But when it's when they blow your guard open, though. Normally, I think it will just still do chip damage.
Oh my.
Because in Dark Souls,
How is this?
even if your guard gets blown open,
Has
you would
God
still
abandoned
only
us
take
for
the small
failing to
amount of chip
show
damage, but
proper
in Demon
respect to
Souls,
King
when your
Arthur?
guard gets blown open,
Oh,
you'll take
Umbasa.
most of the damage, which kind of sucks. Yeah, Umbasa, which is another Bloodborne
Umbasa.
thing, because Gascoigne also has, like, some people dug up that Gascoigne also says Mbasa at some point. I don't know if it's like on dialogue that he has attached to his character that he just doesn't play, but yeah. And there will be, I think, those are the only characters in the Nexus currently, aside from the Maiden in Black. But she doesn't even show up until you fucking... She doesn't even show up till you beat 1-1. Man, the Nexus is easily the largest hub, and it's definitely my favorite. Just in terms of pure visual aesthetic. I have a lot of fond memories with Firelink, which is why I kind of put them on the same footing. But look at this. It's so fucking good. It's enormous, too. Alright, the door isn't even open yet. Fair enough. I was gonna see if I could grab the Ephemeral Eye Stone. But yeah. And I have to be very careful to remember never to jump down this way, because there'll be a character who sits here, and if you land on his head, you might aggro him, and in Demon Souls, if you aggro an NPC, there is no way to de-aggro them. They are upset forever. And yes, I know it's not actually up there, it's like, there's one here, and then there's one on the other side, because Sage Freak sits there, and I think Saint Urbane is over here. But yeah. I also love the wibbly wobbly floor. Oh, weird, it's not doing the thing it normally does. Normally when you step on it, it wobbles around and stuff. Maybe that's only later. Oh, it's not doing it yet because this seal weakens the further you get into the game when you kill more and more of the demons. So it's probably not all wobbly yet, because it makes like a cool noise when you walk on it. Granted, I wouldn't be able to hear it right now, but you know, whatever. I don't know what weapons I'm gonna go for. Part of my brain, very tired. Part of my brain wants to do a build very similar to my original one, just for old time's sake. But I think Character and Hollow are two different people, and I should treat them like two different people and not try and like create the same character, you know? So I'll just kind of go with whatever like I'm feeling when I go forward, because obviously magic. I do still want to get all of the legendary weapons. I want to get the Moonlight Greatsword, I want to get the Dragon Bone Smasher. This character is clearly a Dex character, so I don't know if I'm gonna try and keep going with Dex. But yeah. Because the first sword that I would reasonably consider switching to early on is the Bastard Sword. It's the first, like, of the larger straight swords that you get in Demon Souls. Yeah, there's that flail attack. Every game has it. It's always super dangerous, too. And these are dregs. These aren't even hollows. They're like human people. There are no undead in Demon Souls. Well, okay, there are skeletons, but I don't really count those. If I were playing online and I wanted to be an asshole, I would go for the Scraping Spear. Because the Scraping Spear's gimmick is that it doesn't do a lot of damage, but what it does is it destroys equipment. So you would invade people, destroy their equipment, and in Demon Souls, equipment repair costs are really high. So when you do that, it makes a player basically have to quit whatever run they're doing in a world and go back and repair their equipment. And if they don't have the souls for that, it's not a soft lock, but it's really, really bad, especially the higher value of the equipment they're wearing. Because it destroys everything. Everything they have equipped. Armor, weapons, shields, fucking casting implements. I think even if they're in their offhand, it will destroy the durability on it. I just remember, like, if someone invaded you with the Scraping Spear, it was better to just jump off a cliff than allow them to touch you. Another dickhead invader thing was to invade someone in Latria with the Storm Ruler. Because again, it did almost no damage, but it sends anyone you hit with it flying backwards. And the Storm Ruler will literally just cause people to, like, fall to their deaths the instant you touch them with it, which is pretty fun. If I had a bow, no, because in this game you have to do it. It's like a lever. It's not a, destructible. I love how that flail is specifically designed to get you to realize you don't have to, keep your shield up. Because if you do, you're just gonna reduce your stamina to nothing. I think that is the Cling Ring. Pretty sure. Here's a hole that killed a lot of new players because they saw that magic effect and thought that you could jump down there. The actual reason that magic effect is there is so that you die the instant you fall in it. Because the room that's in there is actually a room you could get into, but you can only get into it at pure white world tendency. Because that room is where the Executioner's set is. And a colorless Demon Soul. But the fog is there to keep you from, remember correctly, that's supposed to be like specifically the Demon's Fog. But yeah, you can see the door is there and it goes to that outside area we looked at when the camera came in. It is specifically so that you cannot fall into it from outside. Forgot about that. Good job. I appreciate you just chew down on moss to get your health back in this one. I always liked that. I appreciate that they kept moss as a thing in in Dark Souls 1. It's not as useful because it's just for reducing status effects in Dark Souls, whereas here it's your primary healing item, and flowers reduce your status effects. Also, pretty much every enemy in the game drops grass. Also, every enemy in the game, if I remember correctly, has a very small chance of dropping a Ephemeral Eye stone. I know it's a Stone of Ephemeral Eyes, but it's been decided that that was a typo when they were making the game, and it's supposed to be the Ephemeral Eye stone, but whatever. Yeah, every single enemy in the game has a chance to drop it because it is essentially Demon Souls' equivalent of the Humanity Sprite, in which every enemy in Dark Souls also has a chance to drop a Humanity Sprite. But some have more chances than others. I love that their health bar depletes to 0 before you even get a chance to fucking kill them. It's super good. And there's no plunging attacks in Demon Souls. What there is a Goomba Stomp. If you fall on an enemy's head, it will stun them temporarily, which is actually way more useful than you would think. Hold on, let me just check. I'm gonna have to pause in a minute because I have a pizza on the way and I don't want to fucking leave the dude out there waiting. You know? So I just need to keep an eye on that. You can see how, like, later Souls games took this, like, level design and just ran with it. Because, like, the Undead Burg in Dark Souls is very similar to Boletaria. Specifically the later part of Boletaria. Not this first area. But, like, Stormveil and Demon Souls, or sorry, in Elden Ring, Christ. In Elden Ring is very similar to this layout. And then Bloodborne also has a few areas that are very similar. It's like, FromSoft have been making the same video game for literally their entire existence. And just like Dark Souls 1, you do not want to get hit by guys holding torches. I think more than Dark Souls 1, backstabs might be fucking king here. Because in Dark Souls 1, they're super good, but most enemies can't actually be backstabbed in Dark Souls 1. So it's not, like, super OP. But here, almost every enemy in the game can be backstabbed, and the backstab range is super wide. It's way wider than in the other games. And you get total invulnerability, just like normal. I am super nervous about cliffs in Deaths. Compared to the other games, I would argue it's way easier to fall off of a cliff in Demon's Souls. Especially since enemies kind of nudge you around when they hit you. So, I'm really, really nervous that I'm gonna fall off a cliff and die super embarrassingly. For a bit of channel lore, one of the first games that Jack and I ever tried to record for the channel was, was Demon's Souls. We tried to record Demon's Souls for the channel, and my capture card back then was so bad that it couldn't record anything stably at all. So what we ended up doing was we scrapped the whole project and then came back when I had a better card to try and record Dark Souls 1, because that was when we started recording Dark Souls 1 together. Unfortunately, we never finished it because scheduling problems. We were both still in high school. My brain's melting. Also, because I'd gotten an Elgato card, the first of the Elgato cards that I got, and it couldn't record PS3 games because the PS3 has built-in HDCP on all of its output footage, and modern capture cards will transmit that while you are recording them, so it won't record PS3 footage. What I ended up doing later, and the way that I'm playing this on a PS3, is I bought a super old, like, first generation version of the Elgato card that is not smart enough to output the HDCP capture fucking thing. So it can record the PS3 without freaking out. But yeah, a moment that is lost to history that I am so sad is gone forever, was Jack falling off the elevator in World 2-1. Specifically the elevator that takes you back down to the it was both elevators, actually. The first one was the first shortcut you get that takes you back down to the starting area, and then the second one that takes you down to Edwin's shop. He fell off of the elevator literally like 15 times in a row, and then he kept like falling off and not dying, and then getting back on and falling off again, and then like he would die, like he finally would die, and then when he came back, he would die again getting his souls. It was the fucking best. It's one of my favorite memories of the Souls series from us actually like playing it together, and it is gone forever. Like there's no bringing that fucking back because it didn't, like, I don't even have the computer we recorded that on anymore. So even if I didn't like delete the terribly, like, the footage was so bad it was like completely unwatchable. It was like 4 frames a second. But it's one of my favorite fucking Souls memories, because of just, like, both of us were cracking up. It was just completely insane. Just how he couldn't manage to fucking deal with this fucking elevator. Oof. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that even with backstabs. I don't even remember what he's guarding. Okay, with backstab, maybe. Ooh, that was real lucky. Oh, I forgot! I forgot they could do that! Yeah, the Black Knights can heal in this game. I totally forgot. They also have an extraordinarily small drop rate for their armor. Unlike in the other Souls games, most enemies' armor sets are not just out there in the world somewhere. They are specifically on their respective enemy, and their drop rates are very, very low. Old King Dorian is in there. Or Old King Dolan, as a lot of people fucking call them for some reason. Yes, I know why. I just think it's stupid. He's a design they massively fucked up in the remake that I'm kind of disappointed about. I never really liked his armor, because it's just not the kind of armor I really care about. Oh, shit. Well, the pizza guy dropped a 6-pack on my foot, and I got attacked by spiders, but hey... I have my pizza now. Fucking Christ. Also, I'm surprised I was able to leave my character there and just not experience any complications. Like, more than any of the other games, Demon's Souls is an extremely static environment. Barring some very specific occurrences... Oops. Pretty much nothing will ever harm your character if you want to just, like, leave them somewhere. I'm gonna have a piece of pizza. You will hear me crunching on pizza throughout most of Boletaria, because I have not eaten in 2 days, and my foot hurts. Yeah, a 6-pack of soda with the pizza for $2 is pretty good. Would have appreciated not having a bruised foot, but I'll manage. Also, now that I think about it, this can's probably going to explode when I open it. I probably shouldn't be eating so much, like, pizza anyway, and or drinking soda, because I'm trying to lose weight. I currently weigh 164 pounds, which is more than I want to weigh. I would exercise more if not for the fact that running around outside here is a good way to get shot. I should know. We do have an elliptical, but it's in fucking one of my roommates' rooms, so I can't actually really use it. Because it'd be kind of weird if I just hung out in their room to use the elliptical and do nothing else. When I was in high school, I used to do 2 hours of fucking gym every day, because I had an elective, and I would just replace my elective with gym. And sometimes I would also go to the, fucking gym during lunch, because I was hungry or whatever. So that, actually, I was in pretty damn good shape in fucking high school. And for a while afterwards, too. And most of my job is I'm on my feet doing physical labor. As I've said before, my life mirrors a PlayStation 2 game in that I have to do tons of block pushing puzzles and a surprising amount of shimmying. Oh, I guess it is just... So I probably could have hit that with the crossbow. Oh, that must be why you get the crossbow up there. Or do you get over there? Wait. Yeah, no, because it's over there. Never mind. Nope, oh, shit. Oh, that wouldn't have killed me anyway. But yeah, no, I'm still in pretty decent shape. It's just fucking... I will admit, I have gotten a little paunchier around the stomach. So I would like to cut down on that a little bit. There's a Planet Fitness literally like fucking a couple blocks from where I live. The problem is it's a couple blocks through an extraordinarily busy intersection. and also, once again, through the parts of my neighborhood in which I will probably get shot if I hang around too much. I mean, someone broke into my car while it was sitting in my front driveway. The people around here don't care. And since I already have fucking people trying to kill me, though, granted, in the next town over, I would appreciate not, you know, putting myself at any further risk than I have to. Like, I don't mind carrying a gun around to protect myself. I already wear body armor at work. But it comes to a different situation when I'm actively trying to engage in activity that requires me to run and jump a bunch. I can't really run around with a fucking handgun on my person while at the treadmill at a fucking Planet Fitness. And it's a shame too, because it's a Planet Fitness that's in such a terrible location that literally no one goes to it. And I think it would be super sick to go to a Planet Fitness where there's just no one else there except me. Because I'm not self-conscious about, like, oh, I can't work out in front of other people, but I do feel really, really uncomfortable when I'm in a large room with a giant space directly behind me that I can't observe. You know? And if I were going to go to the Planet Fitness, I would go there with headphones and just, like, jog on the elliptical for maybe, like, an hour or two. Like, probably 2 or 3 times a week. Because I don't actually have anything against exercising. I actually like exercising a lot. When I was in high school, I used to fucking hang out in the fitness room and just listen to either music or a podcast or fucking watch something on my phone. But that's not really a situation I have access to right now. And once again, if I could just use the elliptical in my fucking house, I would do that. But it's, again, not really an option. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm not going to rescue Ostrava yet. He's over there, by the way. He glows. It's weird. I'm not gonna rescue him yet because... Well... Fuck it. It's not likely that he'll die. Yeah, there's that vaulting mechanic, by the way. Don't get used to it. There's only 3 spots in the entire game that actually let you do that. Well, not 3, actually, but pretty much 3. Here comes the question. The Thief's Ring, unironically, is probably the best ring in the game. The Cling Ring's nice and all, but, and this is how we make this section trivial. Because normally what you would have to do is jump down there and kill all of them. But you don't need to do that when you have... Oops. Magic. Oh yeah, I forgot he just does that. Basically, Ostrava's an idiot, and he will get himself killed unless you hold his hand. And the most irritating thing in the world is that since I have killed these guys here, if I die and come back, Ostrava will still have the command to jump down here, even when the enemies are here, and he will very quickly get overwhelmed and killed. And that sucks. He can die off-screen so easily. Tons of players never actually met him after this encounter. Because you find him in every place in Boletaria, and he gives you things.
I am Ostrava of Boletaria. Accept this as a token of
Ostrava's a
my
fucking
gratitude.
idiot, and he will get himself killed so easily. Because he wanders around like a dumbass and fights enemies. He's the archetype for Oscar in Dark Souls 1 and then later Solaire. Except those characters never really got finished the way that Ostrava did. You can also kill him if you want the Chloranthy ring early. It's just the stamina ring in this game. Because he has a door that goes to the location you get it. It's also the location where you get Demon Brand. I like Demon Brand. But yeah, Ostrava's really bad at fighting and will get himself killed super easily. He's got tons of health. He's just not good at fighting enemies, and they'll chip him to death. He'll also walk through the zone and aggro every single enemy fucking prior to you being able to clear them out, which sucks. So you have to constantly keep an eye on him and kill everything in this area. Yeah, look at him. He's losing to a drag. He's so stupid. And you can't see his health, so you just have to kind of like guess how much health he has. I hate it. Okay. If I remember correctly, something Australia can do is like drag an enemy that can set off these barrels over to this location, and then fucking he runs over here, they set the barrels off, and he just fucking dies instantly. And you know what the shitty thing is? If he dies and you're not there to pick up the items he has, they don't stay on the ground like in Dark Souls until you go to get them. They disappear as soon as you die or zone out of the area. So if you don't pick up the key that he has, or the fucking items he's carrying, which are his sword and shield, as you can tell, they're gone forever until New Game Plus. His sword and shield are good, but I don't really care for them. But the item he's carrying, specifically the fucking ring, or not the ring, the key? Oh no, that frame rate. Ugh. Too many destructibles on screen. But yeah, that ring, if you let it go, it's gone forever. Sorry, again, ring, key. Christ. That key is gone forever, and which means the Demon Brant is gone forever. And Demon Brant is 1/2 of the best weapon in the game. Pizza. Oh. Anyway, with that, you should be fine. As long as I don't die. If I die, it will be a sprint to get back here to keep him from dying. You know what sucks about orange soda? I can't taste it. There's something wrong with either my brain or taste buds. I've mentioned this plenty of times, but I can't taste lots and lots of different things. And the orange flavoring in orange flavored, like artificial flavoring, is one of those things. I can't taste it at all. So why drink orange soda, you ask? I don't know. I still kind of like it, even though I can't really taste it. Pretty much everything Crush makes I can't taste, but yeah. I can't taste orange juice either, but I still get that weird, like, flavor sensation when you drink it after brushing your teeth. It's just, I don't think it's the flavor sensation everyone else talks about. Probably. I do still taste, like, something drinking orange juice. It's just not, like, orange flavoring. And the thing is, this didn't used to be a thing all the time. I did used to be able to taste these things when I was younger. I don't remember when it was that this happened. It might have been after my throat was set on fire when I was getting tonsil removal surgery and they fucked it up immensely. Whoops. But at some point I just stopped being able to taste like pretty much everything except for salt. Black cherry fucking flavoring, which I hate. It's the stuff they use in cough drops and a lot of like antibiotics. I hate that flavor. And there's like one or two other things that I can still taste. I can taste metal flavors like blood. Which is why I'm able to talk about how I notice my mouth is bleeding so often. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff I can't really taste at all. Where did you come from? I do like that you can spin the camera around. Oh, those must be the guys from the drop down. Because there is, like, you can drop down from up there, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the game fucking kills itself whenever you do that. Yeah, Thief Ring's super good. It doesn't work the way it does in the other games. In Dark Souls, the Ring of Fog makes you semi-transparent, and it reduces the range at which enemies can see you, which is only useful in conjunction with the Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring, because most enemies in Dark Souls are actually blind, and they track you via sound. And what in the earlier version of the game, the fucking Ring of Fog made it so you couldn't be locked onto by players, but they got rid of it because it was stupid broken and it ruined PvP. They also got rid of that effect for enemy phantoms because it was insane. They brought it back in Dark Souls 2. But Dark Souls 2, there's a unique thing that if in the Elaim Lois DLC, when you get the eye that lets you see invisible enemies, the fogged guys in the forest are visible now. They lose their Ring of Fog effect, which I think is really cool.
Good day to you. Care to look over my wares?
Yeah, sure.
Mostly stolen, but who's telling you?
I like this guy, he's fun. I was considering getting a spear, but I don't know. Does this have, No, they don't. And he sells the plate armor. I might buy the plate armor. I only have limited money, though. So I'll get the, all of that first.
Be a brave knight or depraved slave, the demons will snatch your soul, then you'll go mad. And those who dare cling to their humanity are hunted
I appreciate
down.
these giant
It
subtitles,
is the end
too.
of Great Boletaria, as we
I know I'm
it.
kind of, like,
But hell,
cutting them
at
off
least
a
the
little on
demons
screen,
don't send
but
us to our deaths in battle.
he's the start of a, fucking character archetype, which is, like, the Hollow or Undead Merchant.
There's this skinny fella, clad in fabulous armor, who's always
Yeah, he's talking
mumbling
about
about
Ostrava.
some mission. He's another one who's managed to stay sane like yourself. Probably some pampered son by the looks of his attire.
Yep.
I'd give an arm just for the buttons off his shirt. It is the end of great... But hell,
Okay, yeah, and that's all your dialogue.
thanks for that. Come back soon.
Will do. Probably. Does this one inhibit your... Yeah, all heavy armor does this. It sucks. Oh yeah, I haven't been reading the descriptions. Shit. They're pretty interesting in Demon Souls. Well, not that one. Some of the later ones, though. And they're very detailed. I like that. Your Medar. Interesting. Oh yeah, and I got the Bastard Sword. Hell yeah. I can't even equip it, though, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you need 18 strength. I don't like the symbols for the different stats in this game. They're very confusing. And I lost my roll, which sucks. If I remember correctly, that increases the amount of, yeah. Which means that that's the place where I'm from. Which is kind of cool. Rings of weight, too, in this game, which kind of sucks. But yeah, you have your item burden and your equip burden. Item burden is the maximum amount of items you can carry on your character. And equip burden is what you currently have equipped. Item burden does still exist in the later games, but it has been increased to, like, 10,000 fucking, like, units. So you're never gonna hit it. It is possible to hit it using a buffer overload, but most people never will. But yeah. We'll just put that on there just in case. Yeah, that silver coronet weighs almost nothing. 'Cause what is it in Demon Souls? It's like... maybe... okay, and then can I wear... okay, chest piece it is then. I look like a ponce. Thus begins the arc of looking like a dumbass for most of the fucking game. I like that he blows up his own fucking barrels. And we're back where we were. Cool. I like closing the circuit, you know? I'll put the cling ring back on if I think I'm entering an area where I might be a little at odds. That reminds me, I need to buy a bunch of arrows later. And a bow, but mostly arrows. Time for Upper Boletaria, or rather the upper wall. Ow. Glad that didn't kill me. I'll be honest, in some instances of the game, that straight up has just killed me, which sucks. I don't think you can break this one. Yeah, that one's part of the set dressing. But yeah, a lot of times people don't realize that, and then those will break because like an enemy got behind them or something. I think what happens is you go down here, the archer shoots an arrow, the player dodges it, it hits the fucking thing, and then you fucking get steamrolled by those balls. Also, those are the two dragons. Like, the only dragons in the game. Well, okay, not technically true. But if I remember correctly, the ones in the later parts of Boletaria are the same dragons. So if you kill them, they don't appear later. Oh shit, I forgot about you guys. If I have time, I'll go kill them with, like, either magic or a bow. Because one of the things is you have to kill them to increase your world tendency. There are not enough bosses in Boletaria to kill to get your world tendency to max without killing the dragons. I thought he was going to throw a firebomb and I was about to get real nervous. Yeah, this isn't really the greatest setup for fighting spear users, if I'm being honest. There's some real good shit over there, but if I remember correctly, the only way to get it is to get them to leave by shooting arrows at them, or if you kill them on the other side of the map. Specifically in 1-2. They can't hit me down here, I'm pretty sure, so I should be alright. Yeah, that Shard of Archstone is just a homeward bone. It takes you back to the Nexus. Peace out. Now, I don't remember if you can aim the crossbow. Fair enough. Okay, you cannot aim the crossbow. If you could, I would have tried to hit it with like one, but yeah. If I remember correctly, can you do the same trick in Dark Souls that you can do here? Oh, right, shit. No. Yeah, okay, fine. Alright. Did that other guy sell, did he sell, my brain is failing me. If he sold a bow, I'll go get one. Killing the dragons might be something I have to do when I come back, though. I'm gonna check just really quick. Yeah, swap back to that just in case. If I'm going for a pure magic build, magic sword. Well, okay, wait, no, because the Magic Sword Makoto isn't actually magic. Isn't it luck-based?
Hello.
But, does not have a bow. Damn. Well, I'll get some of these.
Thanks for that. Come back soon.
Will do. More pizza. I know I'm in front of the soul counter in the bottom right corner. It doesn't really matter too much in this game. Soul level drops are really low. I have 64 souls right now. Plus, you'll see it whenever I, like, fucking go to a different screen. So... Oh, is it on that? Yeah, you'll... Well, wait, no. Still doesn't fucking... Huh. Oh, wait, no, yeah, it's right in the middle there. Yeah, you're fine. You'll also see it when I go to shops and stuff. I really like Demon Souls menu, by the way. Like, just the way it feels and looks. Also, Demon Souls sound font is really good. You probably noticed by now, the item pickup sound in Demon Souls is the same item pickup sound from Silent Hill 2. They share some, like, stock sound effects that they, like, picked up around the same time. Yes, I know Silent Hill 2 came out significantly earlier. The point is, yeah, I forget where it stops. Right, it doesn't continue going. I forgot. I'm actually going to take the thief ring off for a little bit. Nice. That was the best. I do appreciate that, unlike Dark Souls 1, when you fire your soul arrow, it doesn't go towards wherever your character's head is pointing. Yeah, the trigger on that's really confusing. It goes to where your character is physically facing, which means that if you want to blind fire your spells, you totally can. Yeah, it has to fly back and forth every time, so if you want to not die... You run back over here to reset it. Because it has to re-land. Yep. I did always think this was a little finicky, you know? Let's just be safe about this. Just a little bit. Yeah. Ah. And you can stand here and be perfectly safe, interestingly enough. Ugh. That's still kind of nerve-wracking, though. Oh yeah, we're gonna sit here.